Bitcoin continues to break down lower, today plunging into the $25,000 price range. And while we've seen a huge momentum shift with this last crash, yes, Bitcoin has broken below its 200-day moving average. We know this. Yes, Bitcoin has broken below its 200-week moving average. We know this too. But also, BTC has weekly closed below 3 key bull market moving averages, losing all of them as support. So also the 21-week EMA and the 50-week EMA. And what was once support could then act as resistance. If at any point BTC rebounds, it's possible that these moving averages could act as resistance to reject price. So with the fear the market is feeling today, let's talk about what's next for Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks the most oversold since the COVID crash, key indicator suggests. So we're looking at Bitcoin's 14-day RSI, Relative Strength Index, which has not flashed around these oversold levels since the pandemic black swan. Bitcoin's 14-day RSI has dropped well below 30, indicating oversold conditions. A reading below 30 implies that the price has dropped too quickly relative to its recent average, as opposed to a reading above 70 indicates overbought conditions. Now, just because something is flashing so oversold, does that mean you should buy today? Well, in March 2020, in retrospect, the answer was yes. Yet, keep in mind, one of the mistakes that most rookie traders make is to consider oversold and overbought readings as advanced hints of an impending bullish or bearish reversal. But that's not always the case. If anything, the latest below 30 or oversold reading on the RSI is a sign of strengthening bearish momentum, and as the old saying goes, indicators can stay oversold longer than dip buyers can stay solvent. So again, we need more information. And just looking at the data from Coinbase provided by CryptoQuant, somebody's buying. The BTC price premium on Coinbase is up 3%. So it's either, number one, a whale entity is dumping BTC on Binance or other exchanges, or two, Coinbase whales are buying the dip. We can also look at realized price for Bitcoin, which is different than actual price for Bitcoin, and get a better understanding of where we are today. What is realized price? Bitcoin realized price is the value of all Bitcoins at the price they were last transacted on-chain, divided by the number of Bitcoins in circulation. So many people say that this is a more accurate way to value the network, because unlike the current market price, which tells us the price of Bitcoin right now, realized price tells us the average purchase price of all Bitcoins in circulation. So the price that those Bitcoins were last moved. Today, while the actual price is around $26,000, high $25,000, the realized price is around $20,000. What's that tell us? Well, just looking historically, it's actually rare that the actual price dips below the realized price for any extended amount of time. We were below the realized price for months about a year ago. Let's keep tabs on this in these next few months. Because looking on-chain, we see that whales are buying. A mysterious wallet has just become the third largest holder of Bitcoin in just over 3 months, accruing over 118,000 BTC, worth around $3.08 billion. Some entity went from having 0 Bitcoin to being the third largest holder of Bitcoin. Is it a small country? Is it BlackRock? Is it the next entity like BlackRock that we haven't even heard of yet, showing us that somebody is being greedy while the rest of the market is fearful? And this affects you. Coinbase has just acquired a stake in stablecoin operator Circle behind USDC as USDC adds 6 new blockchains. So in layman's terms, Coinbase is acquiring a minority stake in Circle. Their Center Consortium, which governed the USDC stablecoin, is being dissolved, and Circle is bringing the stablecoin fully in-house, meaning Circle now controls everything, and now Coinbase has a minority stake in that everything. And also 6 new blockchains will integrate with USDC, taking the total to 15. Though not identified, Polkadot, Near, Optimism, and Cosmos are chains Circle said it had planned to add in 2023.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, obviously the addition of additional blockchains stands out, right? Having native USDC on various layer 1 networks is pretty catalytic for a lot of these networks, right? You want to have that stable unit of account that you can use to zap around money natively on these chains rather than having to rely on a bunch of sort of like, duct tape bridge situations. So that I think is super notable. But I think also that there's clearly some interesting, I think, behind the scenes here as to why Coinbase wanted to, get in on this a bit more actively, right? I think if you looked at the low to no interest rate environment that a lot of stuff took place in, in the last 3-4 years, suddenly these reserves are probably thrown off a good chunk of change sitting in some bank account somewhere, generating interest, generating returns, right? So I could imagine why Coinbase would want to be closer to that because it might represent a decent business line, right? Circle, these are dollar-backed stable coins. They're sitting in reserve somewhere. They're tokenized, and then they're, zoomed around the internet. And then if you want to cash them out, you get that dollar back, right? So I think the business, sort of the economics of being a stablecoin issuer have certainly changed given the high interest rates that we see.
We're also seeing L2 blockchain Base explode in a huge way. Friend.tech hype sees Base surpass rival L2 blockchains in average transactions per second, and the average daily TPS on Base has risen by 156% in the last week. So Base is an Ethereum L2 that's backed by Coinbase, and it has officially beat not only Ethereum, but rival L2 blockchains Arbitrum and Optimism. And as we've shared with you before, a big reason that Base is taken off, a big reason that investors are flocking to Base, is to gain access to Friend.tech, which is a social market that allows users to buy and sell shares in public figures, now renamed to keys in public figures. Friend.tech has more than 100,000 users just days after its release. And whether or not Friend.tech is just a flash in the pan, if it's going to go away, or whether it's here to stay, nobody really knows. Base, the underlying L2, is reaping the benefits. The total value locked on Base has risen to 188 million, with a decentralized exchange BaseSwap, like Uniswap, but BaseSwap, and cross-chain bridge Stargate scooping up the majority of traffic. Also, Sam Bankman-Fried today was in court again. SBF pleads not guilty to latest indictment. So specifically, he pleaded not guilty again to fraud and money laundering charges. And the FTX founder was arraigned in the Southern District of New York courthouse after a new indictment accused him of using customer funds for everything from buying personal real estate to political donations. The charges were from the original indictment filed last December, and the purpose of this, and why SBF has to plead not guilty again or show up to court again, is because the prosecutor is trying to fold a campaign finance charge into other allegations after prosecutors said they couldn't explicitly bring the charge due to treaty obligations with the Bahamas. Meaning a technicality with the Bahamian government made it so New York couldn't charge SBF for donating so much to political figures, campaign financing fraud. Prosecutors are now just folding that campaign finance charge into other allegations, so they will be able to go after SBF for this. And finally, to answer the question, buy Bitcoin now or wait, truth is, I don't know what Bitcoin is going to do tomorrow, and neither do you. But what my plan has always been, and what smart money has always done, dollar cost average in on the way down, meaning buy as we go lower, buy on the way down. Just like dollar cost average out on the way up, take profits on the way up. Nobody's going to catch the exact bottom or top. As I get more info, I will keep you updated. Hit the like button, and I'll see you tomorrow.